Okay, so I'm going to do a quick live. I have an Akashic reading I'm doing tonight. I'm very excited. I don't want to kind of throw off any... I want to make sure that this live is going to work clearly, so there's a clear stream, because sometimes it chugs along. It's kind of weird. It does that. But anyway, okay, so let's talk about... So I just did a reading for a client, and her twin is taking stuff, if you get my drift, and smoking pot to smooth out the edges. And it's fine, in a way, but it's not fine, because when you have a twin that's addicted, and I did do a live on addiction, and so when your twin is cheating, there's usually two types of twin that do that. One that's entrenched, massively entrenched in 3D. This is going to be like a 20-minute live, just so you know. And then if you guys want me to come back at midnight, because I'm doing an Akashic reading for a client who's leaving town, so that was the only time she could do it, is at 10:30. So this is going to be a quick live. But if you guys want me to come back at around 11:30, 12, I'll come back for a longer live. But anyway, so the first... okay, so when a twin flame cheats, it's because they're entrenched in 3D. The second reason they cheat is because they are addicted to shit. So their impulsivity is completely fucking out there. Like, if the opportunity presents itself, if someone's trying to seduce them or whatever, easy PUSSLY or whatever, they will go for it because they're high. They're high. This is why any human being in a weird situation, unless they really have a centered compass, will do something. So this particular twin told her, why did you do that? Because I'm a man. And I'm like, bullshit. Women do that shit too. It's not because he's a man. That's a programmed response of men cheat. Men, honestly, when a man is in love with a woman, truly in love, he's not going to cheat. He's not going to put his relationship in jeopardy at all. As a matter of fact, if you go down my profile all the way to the bottom, all the way, if you don't know what my dog looks like or my cat, you've never gone through my profile. I'll just tell you that. But if you do that, you will see a video of this beautiful young man who's a Richie Poo. I think he's a crypto millionaire, and he's invested all kinds of money in all kinds of shit. And the new generation of men that have integrity, okay, will say cheating is not a flex. Like, I'll have like people coming to me, men who come to me saying, I just bagged this one, or she's my mistress, and this and that, as if it's a flex. He said, dude, you just basically told me in no uncertain terms that the most important person in your life, the person that should trust you above all people on the planet, you've just fucked him over? You think I'm going to do business with you? Like, I don't do business with people who cheat. He said, because it's a whole integrity thing. It's not about anything else but that. And I will not do business with them. It made incredible sense. It was like a moment of mic drop. So when a man says, oh, well, it's part of my DNA, I need multiple. There are women also who are more polyamorous than monogamous. There are men that are more polyamorous than monogamous. And there are men who are more rooted to monogamy. So usually when I see a twin cheating, especially when the sex is off the charts, we all know as twins how transcendental the sex is, okay? So when your twins just fucked a bimbo, male or female, and you're like, I don't understand. Like, that what we have is fucking beyond the beyond words. Why did you do that? And the answer is, I'm a man, or I was high, or I was drunk, or whatever. It's a bullshit. It's kind of a bullshit reason, but if they say that they were high or drunk, I'll say, okay, well, not to excuse it, don't get me wrong, but most likely they're correct. They were high, they were drunk. And for that minute of being high and drunk, they did not see you in that moment. And then what happens, and this is the fucked up thing that happens, is once they sober up, they're like, why the fuck did I do that? How could I do? God damn. And then there's a looping of self-loathing and incrimination. And believe it, God damn. And then there's a looping of self-loathing and incrimination. And believe it or not, at some point we'll tell you they did it. 9 times out of 10. I mean, there's always a chance that they won't, but they can't live with that weight And this is where the challenge of a twin flame journey starts for many of you. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of moving parts to these relationships. And, oh yeah, let's restrict my audience because I'm talking about, from the car. Okay. My lives are being restricted constantly. Like, I think this is important knowledge that any human being should understand. But anyway, when you have a twin that's not going to be faithful to you, if this is an ongoing pattern, then usually the pattern is based on self-loathing, and then they don't feel like they'll ever be good enough for you. And in a way, they're trying to sabotage then usually the pattern is based on self-loathing, and then they don't feel like they'll ever be good enough for you. And in a way, they're trying to sabotage your relationship. I have to go in a minute, but I wanted to jump in and do this because it's important. One client told me that her twin asked her, what would be the worst thing I could do to make you leave me? That's exactly what he asked her. And she said, what did you think she said? If you cheated. And that's exactly what he did. She couldn't believe it. Because the very thing that would have kept her with him was the very thing he wanted to use to make it impossible for her to stay. And it wasn't because he didn't love her. That's not it. It was because she, in her very presence as a twin, deserved, and he knew it, deserved everything he could be, which was the best version of himself, and he couldn't keep it up. He just could not keep it going. And that is massive. That's devastating. And so at that point, you have to ask your twin, are you looking to heal this pattern of self-betrayal? Because you see, I know you betrayed me, that's without saying, but the weird thing is you actually betrayed yourself. And because you betrayed yourself, my question to you is, do you want to heal the self-sabotaging looping that you're doing in your financial life, in your business life, in your personal life? Because if you did this because you thought this would be the end of the end, then what else are you fucking up? What are you pissing on that you know you should not do? And that is about, and so the question is, do you want to win? Do you want to win at life, or do you want to loop into misery for the rest of your life? And so these are the questions that most I'm going to be straight out, I'm going to call them content creators and not twin flame experts, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because one of the things that is keeping many of you in separation is the fact that you think that that's not part of the journey. You think your twin should come in beautifully packaged, perfectly bowed and pretty, and everything's going to be kumbaya. That only happens for twin rays. That's a twin ray journey, and it has nothing to do with flames. Nothing to do with flames. In fact, that's the whole point. It's called flames for a reason. It collapses and burns, and it comes back rising as a phoenix, and it collapses and burns. And again, flames, not ray. Ray is light. Flames is destruction and rebirth, right? Once you wrap your head around what a flame journey is, as opposed to, excuse me, I don't know why my throat is killing me right now. I've been like fighting a cold. But once you realize what this is, you'll stop listening to assholes who's actually not worked through their own journey and have the mendacity to tell you about what you should be doing when they haven't even mastered their own shit. And that's happening, and it's very, very dangerous. Because when you have a twin flame that is addicted to some hard shit on the streets, and you've decided because you listened to some idiot tell you to block your twin, and your twin might be taking something they shouldn't be taking. We know what's going on with the big fentanyl, right? That's going on throughout the country, right? We know, right? Across the world. I've had 2 friends and 1 acquaintance through my son who in 12 months have actually passed. So imagine if it's a twin. Last year I had 3 clients and all their twins have been addicted and perished over an overdose, and they had blocked each other. We don't know, and this is not to, they'll never hear this live, so I'm telling you, we don't know if that twin tried to reach them, because you know, right? You know this. When you block somebody, right? They could text you until the cows come home. You won't get the message. And typically people in your generation text. You guys don't pick up the fucking phone call and call, where that voicemail would be deposited under blocked if you have an iPhone. But I can tell you, if you have an iPhone and you've blocked, that message will never come to you, even when you unblock. As you well know, you should know this. If your twin has blocked you, there's a thing called star 67, right? So my point, or is it star 69? I'm trying to remember. I think it's star 69. So if you ever feel like something in your heart squeezing, you're like, oh my God, I don't think my twin's doing well. I mean, make sure it's not paranoia or some weird ass shit. Make sure you're really telepathically feeling your twin, especially if you feel like, and you know that they're addicted to some hard street shit, right? Or hard whatever. Because some twins that I'm coming across are not only on pharma, but they're also doing hard shit on the side, which is fucking insane to me. It's like playing Russian roulette with your life. But anyway, is this all twin flame reality? Yeah, it's fucking true. It is. Why? Because we're having the human experience. What does that mean? It means that we are not walking on water. I keep using that term again and again and again. And when you listen to content traders going, well, if that's true, it wouldn't be your twin. The other thing that's coming out that's really got me riled up is they're all saying, at the age of Aquarius, all the twins are... That's coming out that's really got me riled up is they're all saying, at the age of Aquarius, all the twins are going to come into union. I can tell you, doing this for a living is they're all saying, at the age of Aquarius, all the twins are going to come into union. I can tell you, doing this for a living with clients all over the world, some of you will and many of you won't. Why? The ego. It has nothing to do with the age of Aquarius. It has to do with your own, you need to hack out of your own 3D brain, my friends. It doesn't matter if it's the age of Aquarius or Kali Yuga or Satya Yuga. It doesn't matter. What matters is how do you see reality? How do you co-create reality? How do you hack out of your own deluded ideas that you are limited? And your twin, your masculine twin feels, oh, well, I can't do that. I can't be there. I have female twins tell me, oh, he would never read that. I go, is he going through a dark night of the soul? Yeah. Okay, well, I think at some point he's going to want a buoy and he'll probably be ready to read that. This, or the other. Read, listen, it doesn't matter, whatever. But at some point, you got to realize that the reason why we are the divine feminine is that we are here to help our twin. And many are saying, don't help them. They don't need a mama. Well, you're not being his mother. You're being his partner. So in other words, if he falls, you fall. It's very hard for many of you to go into your mission knowing that you've left your twin on the side of the road, bleeding, if that's your situation. And it's best not to, because if anything happens, and I can tell you from experience with clients where these three women had to live with, and these were young women in their 20s and 30s, who had to live with the fact that this person loved them and that they were not there, they were not available because they had blocked them, and found out through the grapevine that person was gone. Or a mutual friend reached out to say, David's gone. Eric's gone. Sean's gone. What happened? It was an overdose. It was a car accident. It was a heart attack. Whatever, however. Okay? So the one thing you want to make sure is you keep that door open, unless he's a psychopath. Clearly, if you're... I keep saying the same thing because I need to make sure that, depending on who listens to this video at some point when it's pre-recorded, and that's the only one you'll listen to, the obvious is always, if your life is in danger, oh, that couldn't be your twin if that happens. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Because when somebody's addicted, they can do some pretty awful things and they can harm you physically. So if anything on that level of being harmed physically is happening to you, then clearly you don't want to be in that relationship in this incarnation. So now you have to learn how to be enough unto yourself, and you have to move on and pray and meditate on a high level soulmate. And you might possibly have a second twin, a light twin, a shadow twin that, that puts you through that kind of bullshit is unfortunately quite common Usually, most often than not, it's the masculine perpetrating these kind of toxic, self-destructive behaviors, and looping into those behaviors, because also it's been, what's the word I want to say, supported by society's norm. Oh, well, boys will be boys. Oh, you know how men are. They always cheat. Bullshit like that. And it's a lie. It's a lie that's been perpetuating to keep separating the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So the gender wars that you're seeing right now, that is not your life. Don't make it yours. Ignore the gender wars. It's not your business. You're not there to hate on men, and you're not there to hate on women, okay? You're here to be in divine union with your twin. And if for some weird reason, for whatever, I don't care if it's 2 months before one of you dies, it's never too late. Okay, you might have an entire life with someone else and have children with them, and finally come to the final resting place of your reunion with your twin, and out of nowhere, and I've talked about it multiple in my lives, about multiple different real life stories of twins who were together for a certain finite time, and how that person died, but they died in union with their twin, living together, making love together, waking up that morning together, or not, and the final healing, and then the journey to go on to continue alone. And so I want to make sure that you understand that as long as you two are alive, and as long as the conflicts are manageable conflicts, rage, jealousy, anger, duplicity, lying, betrayals, betrayals of, yes, all the human fucking things. I mean, just read Shakespeare, Othello, Romeo and Juliet. And I talked about the flying monkeys on my last video. You may want to check it out on my YouTube. You'll see a beautiful man, laying in the pillows with his dark-haired woman. It's actually based on my book, Bakor. And you may want to, Recall, okay? And you may want to look at that live, because that live has a real breakdown. I mean, it's a 3-hour live, okay? I go through saging, self-protection, and then I go right into why twins are so important to the ascension, and why there's a machine of the 1% that have kept us separated for fucking hundreds and hundreds of years. So I want you to watch that and take your time to check it out, and it should give you some nectar, some energy that gives you the power to go back in fighting, right? Gender wars are ludicrous. We grow best when we grow together. I fucking agree. But there's this energy right now on this planet that is really hell-bent on promoting, this hyper-independence, which, don't get me wrong, I'm hyper-independent. My twin was hyper-independent. And we loved being together. And we also loved doing things on our own. And we did, okay? He would go with his friends, go to the pool and play pool or whatever, and have a pizza with his friends. And I did my own thing as well with my friends. It was like, most of the things we did together, because we genuinely loved our companies. The only time we would do a lot of separate things is when we were having a fallout, to be honest. But most of the time, all we wanted was to be together. Is that codependency? He didn't need me and I didn't need him. I remember telling him one day saying, it's not that I need you. I don't need you. And I know you don't need me. But I need you. And he understood that. Totally understood that. He goes, I know what you mean. I mean, we're not fucking, bereft. 12-year-olds going, oh my God, where's daddy, right? It wasn't that at all. It was just the nectar of being with someone who felt like they were home. They represented the energetic frequency of home, which all of us were born missing, home. And home has multiple meanings, okay? From being species from different planets, to being near the nectar of the all, the creator, to being with our twin, for example, and our soul tribe family, for example. So we've had multiple hits of feeling homeless as we, during our first, our incarnations, first 10, 20, 30 years of our incarnations. And this is a reality. It doesn't make you cuckoo or crazy. You just talk to starseeds. This is one of the marks of a starseed, is that from the giddy up, they felt like they didn't belong. Okay? So we had to learn independence. We had to learn how to be lone wolves and be okay with being lone wolves. And many of us were very, very, in fact, we mastered the art of being a lone wolf. I know I did. At 18, I was doing all kinds of shit alone. I mean, all kinds of shit. And I was good with it, running the streets, doing my own thing, going to museums alone, going and having lunch alone. Why? Because it was better than being with an asshole. So, I mean, it's just, so it was a healthy, it was, well, no, I mean, not every relationship, I'm not going to start, it was healthy when it was healthy, and when it wasn't, it was toxic, clearly, or else we would have been twin race from the giddy up, just so you understand. But anyway, if you guys want me to do a midnight live, I'll be happy to get back on. If not, if it's too late, then I won't do it. But please go and check out some of the videos I've been doing on Recall, my book on twin flames, which I think would help a lot of you. And I'm sorry I didn't promote it last year, but now I'm really promoting it because I'm realizing the value of what that book, it's based on a real, my own experience in Mesopotamia. And there's a lot of, it's very erotic. People call it spicy now. It's called erotica, but anyway, okay. And there's a lot of trigger points in the book. And so check it out, because it could actually help you manage forgiving the unforgivable. You got to remember, before your twin met you, I'm not saying let him go cheat or go cheat yourself. Okay. I'm not, if you have an open arrangement and there's integrity in that arrangement, okay. But most twin flames, to be honest with you, don't want to be with other people. Typically, they don't. Once they've established a bond that is fearless, they don't want other people in their bed, okay? And if they do, which can be possible, it happens, okay? It's because they're still looping the 3D brain. There's still some patterns spiraling that were seeded in multiple incarnations, including this one, with what I call the toxic Hugh Hefner Playboy Mansion bullshit. All men do that. No, all men don't. In fact, real men don't. Boys do. So these kind of loops that can happen, like, this concept of a threesome or this or that or the other, try to work it out so that you understand where is that coming from, why, and in particular women, I'm going to say that because some women do it to gift an experience to their person they love. It could be a high-level soulmate or a twin. And unless you're into that shit, you're totally into that, don't do it to please your lover. Don't do that, ever. It's got to be something you want to do, and you instigate it because you love that, and you've always been curious about it, whatever. And then sit with that very carefully, because I've never heard of it ending well for people in the long term. There's always some kind of fuckery that comes out of it, and dishonesty, and then jealousy just exploding out of nowhere like a year later, and then it's a fucking shit show. So, understand that fantasies are fantasies. You can play, act, and do whatever. But when you're in a relationship with your twin, and all kinds of weird, well, men do this, and men do that, and this and that, and all that shit, make sure that you... And all kinds of weird, well, men do this, and men do that, and this and that, and all that shit, make sure that you excavate that. Understand why this is coming up, because it's probably on your plate to literally break it down, purge it, and heal it, because divine couples are enough unto themselves, and one person's enough for them. They don't want anyone else. You're all I want. I'm all you want. That kind of thing. And that is not some kind of weird codependent shit. It's just how it is. There's respect to the relationship, not adding other people in it to confuse the situation, to dilute the power of the bond, and to basically brick by brick destroy the bond, because it will destroy it, because it will. You now at this point you're looping into 3D. Are there planets where where sentient beings are polyamorous? Yes, and it's a completely societal. Now at this point you're looping into 3D. Are there planets where where sentient beings are polyamorous? Yes, and it's a completely societal different of society. And did we come from planets like that? I know I did with my twin, believe it or not, where we were a polyamorous people, humanoids. And it was no big deal, but we were raised like that. It's just how it was. But we always chose each other more often than not. How's that for that? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what body you incarnate in, what kind of planet or dimension you incarnate in, your twin is your magnet to yourself, and vice versa. That's the irony. And that's what I remember also in that particular incarnation. But for the most part, we were always mated to be together. It's like a bond. It's like, again, like I said, the yin yang. And that is something that is fragile in the beginning. And as it starts flowering, it's like a tree. When you have a brand new apple tree that's a little sapling, you're not going to let people fucking run over it, right? You're going to put a little fence around it to protect it from the elements until it grows roots and it's becomes stronger to be on its own. Similarly, you have to do that with your relationship as you begin your twin flame journey. You can't just you can't be sloppy about it and just fucking drop the ball on it. You've got to be intentional, focused, and read as much as you can, study as much as you can on the spiritual dynamics of creating a really beautiful spiritual compass, so that much of the wisdom and knowledge that you're actually picking up on, you can share in wonderful pillow talks with your twin, so that a lot of these weird, sticky, generational habits can be released and purged and just done with. All right. Anyway, I have to go. Let me read your comments real quick. None? Okay, perfect. So I will be back if you want me to. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste. Be well.